get into the third question of the evening from Kurt in Beverly Hills. And Kurt says, I want to kick my land contract buyer out of the home. They have not paid the taxes and have never provided evidence of the insurance that they were supposed to have on the home. The buyer says that since he is current on the payments, I don't have any rights against him. Can this be right? From Kurt in Beverly Hills. Michigan, by the way, not Beverly Hills, California.
Beverly Hills, which is a nice community right out.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, Birmingham,
beautiful west side.
Very nice, right? Well, again, here we go. Because everything is based on contracts mostly, I'd have to see the land contract. Okay, yep. That's number one. But number two, in general, just from years of doing many land contracts, most land contracts will have provisions in there that require the purchaser on your land contract to take care of taxes and insurance and whatever other utilities the parties have agreed to. So we would need to see the provisions as to who agreed to do what. And it doesn't matter that the buyer is current with the purchase price, with the payment, because there's something called a non-monetary default. So failure to pay on the land contract is a monetary default. And there's something called non-monetary default, which means a material default in the contract, paying or failure to pay your taxes and failure to pay your insurance when the contract requires you to do so is most certainly a material item and provision and obligation of whatever party has agreed to pay those items. So yeah, I have to see the contract, but if they haven't paid it, it's very likely that they're in default and you can proceed against them. I have a feeling that if you did the land contract with an attorney and you didn't do it on your own, that you'll find that the documents say it's a material default.
Okay. Yep. That one's probably going to be the most cut and dry one of the evening, but that seems like that makes sense, because if you're not paying the taxes, then you're putting the property at risk of being taken by the municipalities. So you can't do things like that. I believe in the land contract that I have, which David structured for me. It even has provisions in there where, like, I can't just let the property fall into some sort of disrepair or disarray or anything like that. So I don't know if that would be one of those. And this is me just kind of like going off on my own trail here, but like, if I were to continue to make my payments and pay taxes, etc., but I was letting the house fall apart, could the seller then do the same thing, come and foreclose on me, or not? Yeah, like foreclose on me per se, because that's a provision within the land contract.
Yeah. So that's a non-monetary.
Yep. So that's another one of those material. Okay.
The problem with that, let me just share with you, Blair. If somebody that's all subjective.
Okay.
It's a little less. It's not as easy to enforce, but it's enforceable nonetheless. So how do you do that? Well, you just can't go to court and go, oh, they don't cut the lawn, and But what you can do is, look, I've gotten 10 citations or 2 citations, whatever the number is.
Sure.
Once you have that citation, that's something that could support and validate what you're claiming, that they're keeping the property in the upkeep is poor. Yeah, something you would need a third-party kind of objective confirmation.
Gotcha. Yeah, but just asking that question kind of in support of what Kurt's buyer is saying, is he's claiming since he's making the payments, he doesn't have to do anything else. So
it's a good question, and you're right. It's pretty. You're now an experienced investor, Blair. So you go with your gut, and you're right. It's a default.
Okay. All right. Well, all right, Kurt. That's good to know. So we've got a positive there. Again, have to see the documentation, but most likely, Kurt, you are in the right. So that's great. All right.